I'm reading a few verses of the 27th chapter of the Gospel of Matthew. When the morning was come, all the chief priests and elders of the people took counsel against Jesus to put him to death. And when they had bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate, the governor. Now I'll skip some verses about Judas Iscariot bringing back the money and throwing it down, said he'd sinned against innocent blood. All right. Now, Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, Art thou the king of the Jews? And Jesus said, You're right. Oh, thou sayest. That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's what I am. All right. And when he was accused of the chief priests and elders, he answered them nothing. Then said Pilate unto him, Hearest thou not how many things they witness against thee? And he answered him to never a word. Insomuch that the governor marveled greatly. Everybody marvels about Jesus. They still do. There's no human explanation of Jesus Christ. If the Bible isn't the explanation, there is no explanation. Now at that feast the governor was wont to release unto the people a prisoner whom they would. They had the power of choice. They'd say, Now release unto us so-and-so. And that was the occasion. And they had then a notable prisoner called Barabbas. Therefore, when they were gathered together, Pilate said unto them, Whom will ye I release unto you, Barabbas or Jesus, which is called Christ? And he knew that for envy they had delivered him. He was able to size up the situation. He knew there wasn't anything against the Son of God. He knew it was a false charge. And when he sat down on the judgment seat, his wife said to him, saying, Have thou nothing to do with that just man? For I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him. But the chief priests and elders persuaded the multitude that they should ask Barabbas and destroy Jesus. Now that's religion speaking. The governor answered and said unto them, Whether of the twain will ye that I release unto you? They said, Barabbas. Pilate said unto them, What shall I do then with Jesus, which is called Christ? They all say unto him, Let him be crucified. And the governor said, Why, what evil has he done? But they cried out more, saying, Let him be crucified. When Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person, see ye to it. These verses of the 23rd chapter of Matthew, they always grip my heart with such strange, peculiar emotion, I can't describe it. Now, this is the text. What then shall I do with Jesus, which is called Christ? What then shall I do with Jesus, which is called Christ? Will you take Jesus or Barabbas? They took Barabbas. You know why? He was a man. Jesus was God. Do you know the world, ever since Jesus was born, has been trying to trim him down to the size of a man? He wasn't the son of Adam. He was the seed of the woman and the Son of God. And when he came to this earth, he was God manifest in the flesh. And men don't like to have God too near to them, or in front of the holy God. Jesus never had to confess sin. He had no sin. He said, If you've seen me, you've seen the Father. Look at me and you'll see God. I am God. And you've got to believe that or go to hell. Unless you believe I am, you'll die in your sins. Look me over now. Check me carefully. And folks don't like God around. You know, I hear people talk about man's quest for God. He's looking for God. He's looking for God. All the time looking around for God. That isn't so. Why, man's not looking for God. God's looking for man. And when God gets to the man, then the man wants to run away from God. You're not looking for God. If you seek the Lord, you'll find Him if you seek Him with your whole heart. Man's trying to run from God. Why, when Jesus Christ comes back again, people are not going to, except saved people, they're going to run up and meet Him in the air, climb up an invisible stairway when they see Him coming. And the dead will come up out of the grave, and living saints arise, and they'll meet Him. But you wait. Other people will be fleeing to mountains and saying, Mountains fall on us, and hills hide us from the presence of God. Man's always trying to run away from God, not running to God. No man can come to God except by the pulling power of the Holy Ghost, for man's Adamic nature pulls him away from God. Now, man's an immortal being. He's got to live somewhere forever. He can't be satisfied without God. Money can't satisfy him. Pleasure can't satisfy him. Honor can't satisfy him. The world can't satisfy him. He's never going to be satisfied. The rich man in hell wasn't satisfied. He didn't even have a drop of water to quench his thirst. And he couldn't keep his brothers from coming and wanted somebody to stop him. He wasn't satisfied. No sinner's ever satisfied. There's no contentment for the unconverted people. They're discontented. They're immortal. They've got to live forever, and they're not satisfied unless they get hold of that which is last, that which is imperishable, that which is eternal. But they go on. Man doesn't want God. He's a rebel against God. He comes into this world striking as he grows to maturity, understanding back at God's command. He defies God and walked out of a garden and turned his back on God, and so it's been down the age. Now, man is trying to trim God down so man can take God. That's the religious movement of our day. Let me tell you something. The greatest peril that faces America today is a religious peril. The line of demarcations being rubbed out between those men that would exalt God and men that would trim him down to the low level of human nature. They wanted to trim Jesus down. They said he's a man, and he claims to be God. And they killed him for that. They put him on the cross because he claimed to be deity. They wanted to trim him down to that level. And when he said, "Which one do you take?" they said, "Give us a sinner. You can keep company with him and feel comfortable. We're sinners." "You deny you are sinners." "Yes, I know, but you know you're liars. You know you're sinners." The deity of man, the divinity of human nature. Fosdick, I think it was, said that, yes, Jesus is divine, and so was my mother. Spark of divinity. I'm a little God, you know. Devil told me he would be, you know. God, he said, like God, you can. Set yourself, be independent. Don't you have to kowtow to even God Almighty? He's got a right to tell you what to do. Why don't you? You can be God. The fool tried it. That's the reason the world's filled with graveyards. You have to have prisons to take care of criminals and jails for juvenile delinquents and courts of law to hold people in line, to keep them from killing each other and not being possible for them to even live together. That's the reason you got world chaos. Yeah. Jesus said you'd die in your sin. So he said, all right now, which one? Barabbas. Yeah, he's a sinner. We'll feel comfortable with him. He's a sinner. Isn't it strange what folks do? If you can be comfortable in fellowship with sinners, you're a sinner. Sin separates men from God, and even Christians get out of fellowship when they sin. I'm not uncomfortable around sinners when I'm a sinner. I'm uncomfortable when I say I've sinned against God. He's high above me. I don't want to get too close to him, because the closer I get, the more miserable I get till I get right with him, and so it goes. You take Barabbas? Yeah. He's the son of Adam. Yeah, that's right. Not the son of God. Yes, he's a man, yes. And a bad man. I can understand him. I know what sin is, too. I won't admit it, but I do know it. It takes a sinner to make me comfortable at all. I don't want to be around good folks. Be around bad folks. I'm never happy as sinners are around bad folks. Somebody asked us one time about Bob Jones University, and we said, well, it's the best place in the world for good folks, but a very uncomfortable place for sinners.